Welcome to the Pearls of Wisdom podcast, brought to you by Southern Jewelry News and Jewelry Store Marketers. Hello everyone, this is another edition of the Pearls of Wisdom Jewelry podcast, and I'm here with Kendall Wiley with Wiley's Jewelry in Texas, and we're talking to him about, we're chatting here. Yeah, so Kendall, thank you for joining us. And, how's, there's a few topics I want to talk to you.
Okay.
Yeah. And Kendall's a client, and we know him well and certainly appreciate his trust in his business. But you've been in the jewelry business for how long? Tell us about your store and then how long you've been.
Yeah, so I've been in the jewelry business since 1982.
Wow.
I started jewelry school in Paris Junior College with a guy many of you guys probably know, and that's Chuck Kohler, who was with me in Paris Junior College. Yeah, actually, and just an interesting note, he got me my first job in the jewelry business.
There you go.
But anyway, I've been in it for, I guess, 42 years, and we reached out and opened our own store in 1994. So we're celebrating 30 years with my business next month.
Congratulations.
So,
Amazing. And now, so you told me that the jewelry store is undergoing some major changes, or I guess the setup. Why don't you tell us what's going on?
Well, it's been an exciting run for me. You know, it's been a phenomenal industry to be in. You know, I got in the jewelry industry just as a fluke, trying to find something to do with my life in my earlier years. And it's been phenomenal for me. It's been just an awesome experience. So as we've been doing this for the last 40 years, and the 30 years of my own business, it's come time to maybe retire.
Absolutely. And that's a big topic in the jewelry industry. Yeah. I guess you could kind of say it's like an old school industry, and a lot of you hear jewelers that have been around for 25, 30, 40, 50, 70 years. Yeah. You know, a long time. And one of the big topics is succession. You come on in here. Come in here. Come in here. We're gonna continue this.
Here at this show.
That's it. We're gonna squeeze you in.
Yes. Oh, cool.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi.
Yes, ma'am. There you go. Perfect. We were just joined with Elisa Dillon of Southern Jewelry News. She's always running around. This is Kendall Wiley.
Yeah.
Of Wiley's Jewelry. She was just telling us about his jewelry store. Been in the business for a while, and had a nice run. Everything's been great.
Yeah.
And now you were thinking about retiring.
The time has come. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're moving.
How do you make that decision? Just your body tells you.
It's been a funny thing because I'll be 66 in a couple months, and my wife's been on me for a few years about seriously considering it. And I was talking to my older daughter, I guess, a couple years ago, and she's looking at me. She goes, "Dad, she goes, you've worked your ass off all of these years. You supported us, you put us through school, her and her sister, and you've done well." She goes, "Don't you think it's time to retire?" It's like,
ding.
I don't know,
That's a hard.
So I went home, thought about it for a couple weeks, and I thought, I'm still real healthy. Things are still good. My business has been phenomenal.
That's great.
So I can't think of a better time to maybe retire.
Right.
I'm coming out on top. I'm with the best group I've ever been in, RJO.
RJO.
Here we are in sunny Palm Springs.
Yeah. Shout out to RJO.
I think the stars aligned, and mentally making that decision was the toughest thing that I've had to do. Once I got past that and saying I'm going to do this, I've got to make a plan, and planning was the big part of it, and we're still continuing that up to this point. But my plan is to actually transition out of my store December 31st of this year. That's it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you don't have family taking over the business. And
right.
This is a challenging thing for a lot of jewelers, right? They're like, oh man, what do I do? Do I close my store because I don't have kids that want to take over?
Yeah.
But your situation, I guess you could say you were fortunate enough that you have a trusted employee. Or why don't you tell us about how this situation?
Yeah. So when I finally made this decision, it really put a lot of things in motion. Number one, as you mentioned, I don't have any kids to take over my business. So I've built a phenomenal business. It's a great store. It's a great area. And it's one of those things where, do I just want to GOB it and call it done? And see all this work I've put in all these years just go away? And I thought, I want to pass the torch. I want to pay it forward. And I want to, I've been part of my community for a lot of years, and I want to continue that. We've got a great customer base, and it just didn't seem right to just GOB it. So I went on search for an employee or somebody to take over my store. So I put the word out through all the vendors that I know, saying I've made this decision. And I had a lot of investors call me and said, hey, I'm real interested in your store. You're real profitable. I want to be an investor in it, and I just want it to run. And I'm thinking, that's not really what I want. I mean, it doesn't work for me. So then the next step was to find somebody to take over my business. And so I went online and looked, and I did some searching, used a headhunter, which wasn't a great experience to find an employee that's willing to move to my location, work for me a year, and then work out some kind of plan to transition. So for me, I ended up on, of course, everybody knows the JHJ Jewelers Helping Jewelers channel, and I posted it out there. I got a lot of great response, and I ended up with a gal that'd been in the business for 15 years. Her husband's a jeweler, and she said she was ready. And so 2 years ago, she came to work for me. This is kind of the basic plan of what we want to do. This is what I want to get out of it. And, she came on board, and we're in our third year, and we're on the final lap now. And we've got everything laid out. We put a temporary contract in place, and so I wanted everything laid out so there wasn't any mistakes, and there wasn't any misconceptions on where we were going with this. Right. So for the next hurdle for me is how do I get to this chunk of money, and have a GOB and not make it look like a GOB. Right. Yep. So I've talked to a lot of closeout companies here, which there's 2 or 3 here that are phenomenal, and I've looked at some other options. So I'm trying to get there. She's taken over my store. She's transitioning in. We've got a great agreement where it's a win-win for both of us, and I don't really want to do a GOB and hurt her in the transition. But on the other side, part of the deal is I've made it real easy for her. So there's going to be a lot of give and take in this part of it. So, yeah. Nice.
And some, the jewelers out there that don't have family are going to take over. Sometimes they have an existing employee that's been there with them forever, and they're transitioning over to that trusted person that they've known for a long time. In your case, you didn't have that either, but you made it work. You found a solution. Use the resources, JHJ, great community, just like RJO, and found somebody. And, I've talked to a bunch of people saying that they want to figure out how to move on without doing a GOB. Yeah. But they don't have anybody, but you found a solution, and you reached out to the network.
That's good job.
Yeah, it's just,
that's great. Well, in Southern and Mid-America Jewelry knows, we get a lot of calls for people who are ready to retire. I love talking to some of the jewelers because, I understand, and, some of them I know. It's really a heartstring pull on what you're going to do. Yeah. But, the GOB, but would your community be happy to see that you have retired and, make a retirement sale? Has that been pitched to you?
Yeah, I'm not 100% on where I'm going with it, and I'll kind of tell you where I'm at right now. So I'm doing a little test run right now going into Valentine's Day, which is actually our 30th anniversary, as I mentioned. So we're doing a little test run with some marketing and see how that ends up to see what the response is on that side of it. Mm-hmm. So all of this whole 3-year thing is all a part of a plan to really kind of test everything out and see what works best. Right. So as far as the GOB, I'm not sure. We've never been a big sales store. I'm not big on doing discounts or big sales, but we're going to test the water a little bit with a discount and a big sale for for my client base, and see what we pull in with that. So I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I think that's a big part of the transition, because I definitely want to show that Wiley's is still in business. And not leave everybody thinking we're going out of business. That's a part of that we've still got to work through a little bit. We've talked a little bit about the transition after with me and the manager that's taking it over, and we've got to put that part of the puzzle together, because it's got to work. It's got to work well for both of us.
Right.
Because we don't want people to think we're completely gone. I think it's going to take a lot of marketing and maybe some events, and
that's what
and
I was
really. She and I have talked a little about maybe doing some one-on-ones and doing whatever we can do.
Get
maybe
out
similar
there in
to
the
this.
community and get out there in the community and know and let people know. I mean, it sounds like you're involved in the community. That's where you go to do it.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I wish you all the best. I know that you're going to love retirement, and I do hope that you find that transition perfect.
Absolutely.
It'll be exciting to see.
Exactly. So now some jewelers out there are like, oh wow, Kendall looks like he's making the plan work, right? Testing the waters, but found a solution. What's your advice for somebody thinking of, wants to retire but don't want to do the GOB, and now they hear there's some other solutions, but there's going to be some planning in place, and it looks like you've been doing it for a few years.
Yeah.
What's your advice for somebody like that? Don't have anybody to pass on the torch, but
I think we're all in a different spot. I think that everybody's got different scenarios. I think that the real key is for me, once I made the decision and I made the plan, it wasn't I'm going to do it in 6 months or 12 months. It's really taking the time and putting the pieces together and finding the right employee for sure. If that's the only option you have.
So you were able to reach out to JHJ Network, which is a trusted network, community here in the jewelry industry. So vetting is, a little bit easier. It's not like, classified ads and anybody calling.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
Right. So, but how was that process of finding that person? I mean, I'm sure it wasn't the first person that knocked on your door.
Right. I've been doing this for a lot of years. I've got a good feel about who I'm hiring, just through conversations.
Sure.
So, did I do a lot of vetting? I did some. So, we ended up with probably 3 or 4 responses out of that. And I personally flew people into my store.
Okay.
So I paid their way. Come in, spend the night, let's sit down and have a talk like this, take them out to dinner and really kind of get a good feel for mentally where they're at and what their plan is. And I think that was a big part of it.
Yeah.
I feel very fortunate that I just, it didn't take me long to know that Karen, who's going to be taking over, was the right person.
That's great.
Her experience was phenomenal. And I might also say that for me, she didn't have any back-end experience, back-end inventory, buying. So a big part of this whole transition of these years has been me holding her hand, showing her RJO, and I just talked to them yesterday. They're happy to make the transition for me, which I'm really excited about.
Great.
And being a part of the RJO family, I think she'll have no problem at all. But there's a lot of seminars, a lot of education. There's a lot of one-on-one here. She can get help on the back end, what she hasn't got from me as an owner. And like I told her, I said, I've been doing this a lot of years. I want to pass the torch. I want to do it the right way. I'm here if you need to pick up the phone and call me. So
So that's really exciting. Congratulations on
Thanks.
all that. But you got a lot of other exciting stuff going on.
What?
Oh, believe me, Kendall.
Tell me.
Kendall's got a really cool situation, man. I want to be Kendall when I grow up.
Really.
So the stars aligned. The sun was perfect. It was one of those things. Anyway.
Okay.
So 7 years ago, my wife and I had been traveling to Alaska a lot, and over the last 30 years, we were going almost every year. So get it that I like to fish. My wife's a fishing machine. She loves to fish. And there's no better place to catch fish, big fish, than Alaska. So it's a real long story short how we ended up, a very long story getting up there. But anyway, I had a niece that lived up in Alaska, and I said, we come up here every summer. I said, I'd love to have a summer house up here. And she called us, 7, 8 years ago and said, hey, there's this lodge on the beach. She goes, the guy died and passed on. The family needs to liquidate. They need to cash out. Would you be interested in it? And I looked at my wife. I said, at some point we're going to retire and we're going to need something to do. I said, let's take a look at it. So we did. And believe it or not, we had that thing bought before we set foot on it. So we have been traveling up there every summer for we're going in our 8th season up there, managing and operating our lodge in Seward, Alaska. And so that's going to be our after the store thing. So I've been real fortunate. Once again, I've had a good crew to operate my store. It's so much. It's really not as hard as you think to be an absentee owner for 4 months if you want to be gone for the summer. Mm-hmm. I learned how to do that too. Yeah. And they've made it easy for me to rehab our business and grow our business in Alaska. This being the end result is retirement and doing our thing in Alaska for 4 months out of the year.
You should see this thing. The website is the pictures are really amazing. Right on what lake or what body?
So we're in Seward, Alaska. We're in Resurrection Bay. So our lodge sits on the beach, overlooking the mountains, looking over the bay. You can sit on our deck and watch whales in June, and just enjoy it. And that is resurrectionlodge.com, by the way. If you've got some people that would love to check us out, my jewelry friends get special prices. So
give
me a call.
Yeah, it's really cool.
What's the state? What's the city it's in Alaska?
It's Seward, Alaska.
Yeah, Seward, Alaska.
Yep, yes. It's 2.5 hours south of Anchorage on the Gulf Coast.
Right. Yeah. ResurrectionLodge.
Yep.
.com. Resurrection.
Yes. How many units does it have, or how many people?
Well, we have actually 9 doors, but we can sleep 38 people when all of our beds are full in our facilities.
Right.
So, but we have that. We also manage a couple properties there too. So,
you're going to be quite busy.
So we're going to be busy for those 4 months, but it's a great place to be in the summertime. I can tell you that.
Yeah. That's going to keep you young and having fun. So that's great.
We'll
Alaska.
see. We'll see. Right. Yeah.
Well, fantastic. And I'm sure a lot of jewelers out there are looking at how to get out
transition.
Of the grind of running the store that they've been doing for so many years. You've found a way to do it. Yeah. How many years you going up to Alaska for 4 months, absentee owner, and then now, successfully transitioning. Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, thanks a bunch. It's been fun. It's just like jewelry business. I'm talking to people every day up there. We have people from all over the world, and that's we're in the jewelry business. We talk to people we like meeting, greeting people, and being part of their lives. So.
Fantastic. That sounds like a Southern Jewelry news story.
It is. Yeah. So did you hear that, Debionic? We've got a lead story from Texas to Alaska.
There you go.
That's it.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
And it's resurrection.com.
Yes. So last thing that I have, I'm wondering if you have, it doesn't have to be a succession, but do you have any pearls of wisdom or advice that you can give to our fellow jewelers out there?
Oh gosh, as far as my life in the jewelry industry?
Yeah, well, whatever you
anything.
Whatever you got.
Oh man,
Yeah.
It's I think for me, I've always had great mentors. And I think mentorship has been huge for me. I was lucky when I came out of Paris Junior College, and
Wait, tell her the story.
Oh, the story.
Didn't hear it.
So you know Chuck Kohler. Chuck,
he's my man.
He's your man.
Shout out to Chatting with Chuck.
Chatting with Chuck. So he and I were in Paris Junior College together, and he got me the first job I ever had in the jewelry business with one of his old bosses. Yep.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And it's been an interesting story that me and this owner have been friends for all of these years. And we chat. We used to chat all the time stay in contact. I'm lucky. I've had a lot of great mentors. I've had a couple other jobs before I opened my own store, all of which have been phenomenal, and all of which I still talk to today.
Nice.
And then the other side of the mentorship is, man, you can't be a better place than RJO, and all these have all these tools and people, and fellow jewelers. Now we're up to, 1,100 in here?
Something like that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, the dividend check is amazing.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
It is. So, it's a great group. With great members like you, and we hope to see you around, even after you retire. Maybe you'll come back and
the
keep
follow-up, huh?
Yeah.
We want to hear all the stories of whales and seals.
Alaska. The great frontier.
Nice.
The last frontier.
We got to go up there. We got to do an episode.
Come on up.
Yeah.
Pearls of Wisdom Alaska.
I've always wanted to go do that.
Well, come on.
I have. I'd like to go there in June, right? Yeah, June or July.
Yeah, you drove a few times that way.
I've made the trip across Canada 6 times. And I'm actually driving home this year, so I've got a vehicle I've got to bring back to Texas, so I'm going to bring it back. But it's a lovely trip, I can tell you. I don't mind making it.
Wow.
It's a long 8 days from Texas, but Canada, Western Canada, the Yukon is just unbelievable. Getting into eastern Alaska, I mean, it's a gorgeous trip.
That's a great experience.
It is.
Yes,
it is.
So make sure everyone listening, you check out Wiley's Jewelry, amazing store.
Yep.
But check out
ResurrectionLodge.com. It's Resurrection Lodge on the Bay in Seward, Alaska. I want to hear from you.
Book your rooms now because Kendall he gets booked up fast.
I do.
He's going to get all his buddies from RJO coming out.
I have had a few. I've had a few.
I might be able to do like a mini conference there. Or, we'll do a little mini.
That's it. Just book it up with RJO people, man. That would be amazing.
I like it.
Pearls of Wisdom
Symposium.
In Alaska.
Sounds good.
Let's do
it. Amazing.
Well, I'm glad I came by. Sorry I was late. It's just been crazy because I'm headed to Tucson. Are you going to Tucson?
I'm not. I'm heading back to Texas tomorrow.
There you go.
So I got to get back in the saddle and get going for this last lap through December. So. Good
luck on that last lap.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm feeling it.
Definitely.
I feel it myself coming
amazing. So I knew it was going to be amazing to have Kendall on here, and a lot of the story and the session and then the lodge and so forth, everything. Congratulations on that.
Well, I'm a blessed guy, and I'm blessed with RJO and having you guys as partners in all of this. Perfect. So it's been great.
Perfect. All right. Well, everyone, thank you for another edition of the Pearls of Wisdom Jewelry Podcast.
Woo.
Of course, you're checking out Southern Jewelry News.
Hope so.
Always amazing stuff to read. Got to read Chuck Taylor.
Chucky.
And thank you also. Check out Jewelry Store Marketers. Thank you.
Y'all have a great day.
Have a great day. Bye now.
Thanks for listening to the Pearls of Wisdom Jewelry Podcast. For more information about the show, please visit southernjewelrynews.com/podcast, brought to you by Southern Jewelry News and Jewelry Store Marketers. Make sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you can catch the next show. See you then.